Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bird Guy Games. I'm your host, Bird Guy. Today, me and my brother here
Hello.
are going to be doing a playthrough of Gaslands. I've done a couple of videos of this on my channel, and we haven't done a battle report yet, so we're going to go ahead and do a Gaslands battle report. We're going to go ahead and start by getting everything set up, and we'll jump back in when we got everything set up. See you then. Alright guys, we got our team set up here. Here's my team with Formula Guard, F1 and F2, and then we have my brother's team with the Batmobile and the 68 El Camino. So just a couple of pre-stuff set up. We've got all of our hull points and ammo and stuff like that. So just a little bit though, my cars here have these two cars, F1 and F2, have hot starts, so we will now roll to see what gear they get to start in. F1 starts in gear 5, and F2 also in gear 5. Alright, so those are our cars. We will now move up to the battlefield to get started. Alright guys, just wanted to give a little glimpse of our battlefield here. So we have the starting line here. We've got some nice terrain right here. You guys actually watched me make these stick terrain, and then we have our first gate around to our second gate and to the finish line. You have to go through this little out jut here, shows which side you have to go through. And then a couple little extra things that we do with terrain is the cones. The way we deal with those is if your car were to drive through a cone like this, you just take the cone out of the way, move your car, and then after you move, you just drop it, and you play it where it lands. And basically, it's like you just hit the cone as you were driving. So the cones don't really act as some intense terrain, but they do add some neat things to the battlefield. And then the other thing we have is this rock right here. We're saying this sloped side, you're allowed to drive up that side, but no other sides. So that is the terrain for this match. We will now roll to see who has initiative. We use this piece from the dice box as the initiative marker. So we will go ahead and roll. I'll roll first. I got a 1, so go ahead and roll. He got a 3, so he starts with initiative. There's that.
Thank you.
Alright, so he gets to set his first car.
Put him right.
Okay. Go with F1. Right there.
Alright.
Take my F2 and put him here. And my final guy is the Formula Guard, which I'm going to go ahead and put right here behind the Batmobile. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get through some of the first movements and come back with that. So, we're ready first. Alright, so he started off, he moved his El Camino. He ended after his rolls with a shift and a slide, so he shifted up 1, and he's now going to go ahead and move and slide. Right, and then he did impact that cone, so go ahead and drop that. Alright, so that is the El Camino. We'll come back after well, I'm actually just going to go ahead and do mine right here. I'm going to start with moving my F1. He is in 5th gear, so that's a really high gear. We're going to go ahead and do a long straight for him. He has a handling of 4. So I'm going to roll these 4 dice. All shifts. Okay, so I will shift, down 1 and skip the rest, and just get rid of the, and then I'll use 1 shift to cancel that hazard. So I'll shift down, take no hazards, and I get to go ahead and move there. Alright, so I just want to do that so you guys can kind of see what a turn is like. We'll come back and let you know what else goes on. Alright, so my brother went and he moved his Batmobile here with a nice little turn, and he got a spin at there, and he shifted up. and I activated my F2, who's also in 5th gear. So he's going to be doing a long straight, but as you see, that'll cause a collision. So he canceled a hazard, the shift, and then kept the slide, just takes the hazard, and then shifts up one. And so now we have to do the whole collision thing. So he goes forward and collides with the Vatmobile. Just pull these templates out here. Alright, so now we're going to look at the book so we know exactly what we got to do with the collision. So this is we'll call this a tailgate. So now we have to just decide if we're going to do attack or an evade. I'm going to do evade. What are you going to do? I'm going to do an attack, sorry. Go ahead. What are you going to do?
I'll do an evade.
Okay. So, so now we have to roll attacks. So it's attacker's current gear minus defender's current gear. So you're currently in 2nd gear. I am in 4th. So I get to roll 2 dice. Let's see, weight classes. We have the same weight. So I'll go ahead and roll. No damage. So that's that attack. That's that collision. Alright guys, so here's how we're looking after round 1. We had my 3 cars basically just move up a little bit. And then my brother's cars here, they kind of turned and moved over into this section of the board. So we're now entering round 2. We will go ahead and get started with that. My brother still has initiative, so yes, we have to move to gear phase 2. Go ahead. Alright, so after round 1, you can see we got gear 2, a little bit of hazards in there. Gear 2, 1 hazard, gear 4, none, gear 4, 2 hazards. So we're moving into the gear phase 2 at this point. Alright, so we finished up gear phase 2. We had F1 move over there, kind of getting a straight shot. My Formula Guard car just moved up a little bit, and F2 moved up a little bit and spun. And you can see they're just barely underneath each other, so we did not have a collision there. And then my brother's 2 cars just kind of turned over, trying to get up in line. So we will now move to gear phase 3, and it's your turn. Alright, so we had our first vehicle here make it to 6 hazards, causing it to wipe out. So after checking the manual and figuring out exactly what we had to do, he rolled for his flip check and got a 3 when he was in gear 4. So he did do a flip. We moved him the medium straight, and then I rotated him with which caused him to have a T-bone collision with this Jersey barrier there. Although because of the rules and stuff like that with collisions, no damage was dealt, and that was our first wipeout. We'll continue on with gear phase 3. Okay, so we had my F1 car over there get into a collision with a heavyweight object. It's a head-on collision. So he's in 4th gear. So that, can you hold the camera while I do this? Just right there. Alright, so he was in 4th gear. So that would be 4 dice. So let me just grab some dice here. Alright, so we've got 4 dice here with that, or not yet. So head on, so that's 4 dice. And then that is a heavyweight. I am a middleweight. So it's 2 more dice. Alright, here we go. Rolling. We have 1. Alright. So we've got here, as you can see, 2 hits and a critical. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4 damage. I have 4 to attempt to evade. And no evades. So just to let you know, 4 and 5 is 1 hit, 6 is a critical, which is 2 hits, and evades are just on 6s. So I took 4 damage. So I will take that away from my hull points here. And then also, because I was in a collision, I do take 2 hazards because of the collision. So yeah, that was our first major collision with the damage dealt right over there at F1. So we'll finish up round 3, hopefully with a little less collisions and wipeouts. Seems like. Alright, well, still here in phase 3 we had another collision. So we'll go ahead and sort that out. It's another head-on collision. What is your weight? You're a medium weight, so that's 2. What gear are you in?
I'm in gear 4.
Gear 4, so that's 6 dice. I'll go ahead and roll this. This is the barrier attacking you. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. And you have 4 to evade the 5 hits. And you evaded 1, so you take 4 damage, and you get 2 hazard. So maybe, this guy's probably going to make another collision. So round 3 has been very much full of collisions. We'll come back if there's any more. So from that collision here with the Batmobile, we got to 6 hazards. So go ahead and roll for a flip check. What gear are you at?
I'm in gear 4.
Gear 4. So you do not flip this time, which is good. Let's see what you do though. So reduce your current gear to 1. Remove all the hazards from your vehicle, and then I get to rotate you. I'm gonna go ahead and point them just like that. Alright, so now we'll see if these guys have a collision. Alright, so that's the end of round 3. A little bit of an exciting round. We had a collision over there, a wipeout there, collision there. That guy did not collide, just kind of sweep around. I was very luckily able to get Formula Guard not to collide. I did a hairpin turn and then got a spin, and that's how I'm still facing that direction. So we will now move to gear phase 4. Go ahead.
I haven't done
So that was quite an uneventful 4th gear there. So my brother could not activate either of his cars because they were both in 1st gear because of their wipeouts. So I moved F2, just kept him going around that corner. I think I'm about to crash next round though. Formula Guard made a nice little sweeping turn and took off a ton of his hazards, which I was worried about. And then F1 back there made a pretty awesome move. I took him straight through right in here, did a slide and then a spin. I was able to get him lined up to come right down that path. So in this case, we would now go to 5th gear, but no one's in 5th gear. 6th gear, no one's in 6th gear. Back to 1st gear. My brother has initiative, so he gets to activate first. Alright, so here and back in 1st gear on turn 2, or I mean round 2, as predicted, my F2 crashed. So we're going to go ahead and roll for that. So he is in 4th gear. The barrier is heavier than him. So we got 6 dice going into this attack. Oh wow, that's a lot of damage. 6 damage, and I have 4 to try and evade. And I evade none. So F2 takes 6 damage and is down to 2 hull. He also takes 2 hazards. So that was the little thing that happened here. So that's the end of our 1st gear in our 2nd turn. We had the Batmobile back up and slide, now facing the wrong direction. Better than the rocks though. This guy did collide. He backed up and I believe slid.
Yes.
Okay, he slid. We had Formula Guard move around. And then over here we had F1 start down the straight, and he dropped a landmine right there, which brings something kind of interesting. You see this, the landmine is just that small template there. I do kind of want to get one of those and do some cool art on it to actually make it look like a landmine. So look for a future video where I upgrade the templates. There's also this large template for things like oil slicks and glue droppers. So I might want to upgrade that one, or at least kind of do some art on that one to make it look a little better. So might do something with that later. We are now moving on to gear phase 2. You're still first. Alright, so here at the end of gear phase 2, we had the Batmobile back up and spin around. Yeah, he did that. He did a nice hairpin right through there. Facing that way. We had F2 do a nice turn. My brother brought up a good point. It looks like he would have collided again, but once you hit an obstacle, you ignore it for your next turn. We had Formula Guard back there. He crossed the line, so his weapons are now active. So I'm starting to turn him around so he can shoot back at my brother's cars. F1 blasted through those cones in turn, getting ready to go up this rock right here and hopefully not collide with everything and come through for the finish line. So that's the end of gear phase 2. Now to gear phase 3. My brother goes first again. Alright, so we got the Batmobile making it up to 6 hazard again. So let's you go ahead and roll that for the flip check. So he rolled a 3. Let's just make sure I'm giving you the right information here. So 2 or over the vehicle's gear to succeed. So you do not do anything. Reduce your current gear to 1. Remove all of the hazard tokens. And then once again, I get to spin the Batmobile. We're gonna send him right in a nice little spot where all he can do is collide. Alright, so that was the first activation of this round, so we'll keep going and see what happens with the rest of them. Alright, so my Formula Guard here, he moved around, spun around a little bit. He has range on the El Camino with machine guns and a Gatling gun. So now he does have line of sight if you were to look right there, you know. He got line of sight over the car, but we are giving my brother the benefit of cover. So I have to roll a 5+ to hit. I got 6 dice. Let's see what we do. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. And what gear are you in?
I'm in gear 1.
Alright, so you get 1 to evade. Nothing, so you take 2, 3, 4 damage on your El Camino. So that was the first attacks of my Formula Guard. So you can kind of start to see how my Formula Racers, like that guy up there who just climbed that rock, are very much, they speed ahead. And Formula Guard, what I like to do is get him into through the first gates, his weapons go active, then just flip him around and go crazy on the other guys. That's his job. So we'll come back as soon as I finish up this round and talk about everything that happened. So that's the end of gear phase 3. We had some shooting from right there. He shot at the El Camino. The Batmobile got in a little predicament. F2 goes that way. I think I'm going to hit my own mine right there, which is not ideal. F1 just did an epic little climb on this rock. He's going to jump over and hopefully make it to the finish line. Moving on to gear phase 4. My brother still has not passed the first gate, so he still has initiative, so go ahead. So we're just about finished up with gear phase 4 here, but my Formula Guard there has decided to declare another attack on the El Camino. Same kind of deal. I've got 6 dice, but this time he has no cover, so 4+ will deal damage. You got 1, 2. What gear are you in?
1.
Alright, go ahead. You have your chance to evade. Alright, takes 2 damage. And that's the little attack there. Come back when this round is over. So we just finished up gear phase 4, but as you can see, my F2 there just hit the small mines as he did his little turn. So with that hit, there's a 3d6 attack against him. So we'll go ahead and roll that. 3 hits. Alright, he is in gear 4, so I get 4 to try and evade 3. I evaded 2, so I take 1 damage. So let's just go over what happened here. Formula Guard went and attacked him. F2 went around the corner right there, and F1 made his nice little jump over this rock heading into the home stretch. You'll now move on to gear phase 5. No one can move. So 6, no one can move. We are back to gear phase 1. My brother has initiative, so let's see what he can do. So right off the back, we have the Batmobile making collision as expected. I'm gonna go ahead and roll as the rock attacking. 1 damage. And what gear are you in?
3.
Go ahead and roll 3 to try and evade. And nothing's evaded, so you take 1 damage and 2 hazards. Alright, we'll come back when the rest of this is finished up. So, Formula Guard had a little bit of a mishap with the slide over here, but he is still shooting at El Camino. So, again, with 6 dice for the minigun and the machine gun. And we have 1 hit. He's in 2nd gear, so he gets 2 to dodge. To try and dodge, at least. And he dodges it. Alright. So, we'll come back after we finish all the movements. So, there we are at round 3, gear phase 1 completed. We had the Camino make a nice little hairpin, try and get out of the way. The Batmobile went into its collision. F1 did a little straight move. Formula Guard had a little hairpin, but slid out and shot down at El Camino. And F1, continuing its gentle line into the finish. We now move to gear phase 2. My brother still has initiative, so he'll go ahead and go. Alright, so the El Camino had another little collision there. I got the 4 dice rolling for the Rock's attack. 1, 2, and 3. What gear are you in?
2.
Yeah, 2 to try and evade. None evaded, so take 3 damage. And 2 hazards. So, yeah, that was the first move of round 2, so we'll come back when the rest of round 2 is done. So I just learned with that collision, the El Camino is now actually out of hull points. So your first step is to move a single straight forward. So why don't you go ahead and do that. Short straight, yep.
Do I go over?
Yep. It's right there. Alright, and then your next step is to become a wreck. So this is my favorite part. This is the part where we get to flip his car over because he's now a wreck. And that's kind of one of the cool things with this game is his car actually just sits right there and basically becomes another piece of terrain to try and avoid. I've seen some people with some really cool things that they have with like where they put smoke and like it looks like they use cotton balls and color them and stuff like that to make smoke come off those. So might see that in a future video where we make something like that. So after that, you have to do an explosion check. So roll a 6-sided dice. Alright, and you add 5 to it because you have 5 pieces of ammo. So you do explode. So everything within medium range, nothing is within medium range, but just to show you guys what that would mean, we get a medium, straight, and measure around there. Nothing's within medium range except for the wall over there. So that doesn't really do anything in that case, and I believe that you are done at that point. Yep, alright, you're done. So is that vehicle down. Come back at the end of gear phase 2. So, Formula Guard had a collision, but because it's a side swipe, he gets no damage. But he did get to 6 hazard. So I'm going to go ahead and roll for his flip. He got a 2. He is currently in gear 3. So I don't think that will do anything. Yes, nothing there. So I reduce my current gear to 1 and remove all my hazard tokens, and then you get to rotate him however you want. You can't back him up, you have to rotate him around in the middle. So you have to rotate him around the middle when he's right there. So you can't really do that either. Not put him like, I mean, I guess you can put it like that. Is that good? Mm-hmm. Alright, so we'll come back when gear phase 2 is over, which it almost is. Alright, so we've made it to the end of gear phase 2. We have F1 here, continuing his straight path to victory. We had El Camino crash out in a heap of burning metal. We had him, the Formula Guard, do that. The Batmobile climbed over that rock, and F2 came, and they're staring each other down. Imagine that view right there. Or, as if you were the F2 driver. That's quite the view. I would be quite afraid for these next couple rounds. Alright, well, we're moving into round 3. My brother still has initiative since he hasn't made it past the first gate yet. And we'll come back when that round's over. Alright, so we had the Batmobile come in for a head-on collision. You might have noticed the cars moved back. That's just because the Batmobile was kind of rolling, so we decided that's where they're going to be. So, you get to decide first. You're going to attack or evade?
Attack.
I am also going to attack. So let's make sure we understand exactly what's going on here. Head on. Alright, so you get to go first. What's your current gear?
4.
4? Alright, so you get 4 plus my current gear, which is also 4, so you get 4. So you have 8 to roll. Alright, go ahead and sort out what we got. We got 1, so 4, 5 hits. I've got 4. I'm going to roll. Try and evade. No evades, so I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's go over here. F2 is then out, would be out. But he still does get to do his collision attack. Ouch, bumped the table. Good thing nothing rolled. Alright, so I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Roll those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, you get 4 to try and evade. Go ahead and roll those. 1 evade, so you take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. On the Batmobile, he's down to 1 hull. We'll come back as soon as this round is over. Alright, F2 is now actually gone, so he gets to move a short straight forward, which will put him just past the Batmobile. He becomes a wreck. What a wreck. And then we get to roll to see if he explodes. 3 plus his 2 ammo, that's 5, so he does not explode, and that is his wreck. Alright. Alright, so I believe this is turn 3 or 4, I believe 4 actually, in Gear Phase 3. We got my F1 doing a long straight into the victory. I'll go ahead and roll these just because you have to. Cancel those, nothing happens, and vroom vroom, that is victory. So yes, now as you can see, quite chaotic. We lost 2 cars in the thing. He was probably about to go. Let's see. No, Formula guy was still okay. Batmobile was definitely about to go. 1 hull point left. Still hadn't made it through the first gate. But you can see the cones a little bit too. It's kind of cool how it makes the battlefield change a little bit, because as the cars drive around, it makes it look more drived on once we get to the end of the game. I will give props to my brother. Thank you for joining me in this video. He did a good job driving. I know it can be, just because he crashed a lot and couldn't get through the first gate doesn't necessarily mean he's a bad driver. There are just sometimes you get bad rolls, and then sometimes you get in a downward spiral where you get a bad roll, gives you too much hazard, you crash into something, and then you can't get out of it. And that's kind of what happened to him in this round. So hopefully you'll play with me again.
Of course.
So hopefully we can come back on this channel and play this game. I do kind of want to show maybe a full 3-game like a series, don't know why I couldn't think of that word, show a whole 3-game series of the Gasland Time Extended War Rig Narrative Campaign. But for now, I won this first Gasland game. I'll put any links in the description if you guys are interested in getting this game, Gaslands, here. This is what you get, the book. I have some other videos that I will link here at the end of this video or in the description. Go check out some of those, my intro video and my reviews. It is a great game. I highly recommend it. I won't review it right now, though, because I have a video specifically for that. I'll let you guys go look at that if you want. So, thanks for playing, Aaron. I hope to see you guys later in one of my next videos. Hit the subscribe if you feel this video deserved it. If not, that's okay. Share and like as well if you feel like this video deserved it again. If not, that's still okay. See you guys in the next video. Bye. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you're interested in looking at some more videos, you can click right up here. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you're interested in looking at some more videos, you can click right up here. I'll see you guys in the next video.